Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So on the agenda tonight we have James Taylor, and this is going to be his live performance of Fire and Rain, and this is coming from 1970. And I'm going to let this play the whole way through because it's such a great story and James is such a great storyteller that I don't really want to interrupt it until the end. So let's have a little listen and see how he gets on.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans we made put an end to you. I walked out on the morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me to make a stand. Just got to see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand, and I won't make it any other way. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. I've been walking my mind to an easy time with my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your hair around now. There's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground. Well, now I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you somehow one more time again now. I thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around. Oh, now I thought I'd see you, I thought I'd see you fire and rain. La 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 la.
And there it is, and I'm just going to stop the video there because it's going to cut out. As you can see, we've only got 1 second left. But this performance and this song and everything about this video, you could analyze it for years because there is so much going on. To begin with, I'm going to start with the guitar work because anybody that has played any James Taylor tracks will know how great they are just as standalone guitar tracks. In terms of compositions, the way that it stands up melodically on its own 2 feet, you almost don't have to have a vocal in there because it's so enjoyable to play just having that basic melody. And every now and again I will get a guitar student who comes along that wants to learn some James Taylor, and those days are good days. Of course, James has got that fantastic vocal delivery. I have had a lot of great storytellers recently on the channel, and James is most certainly up there as one of the best because he has got that voice where he's just talking on pitch and is so relatable comfortable, the way that he delivers the lines. But the other thing that he does while he's playing is that he'll throw in little bits of extemporization and changes in the picking pattern on the right hand when he's not singing. So you'll have that vocal that you're listening to and the lyrics that you're intently listening to, like everybody here. But as soon as there's any silence and we're just listening to the guitar, James will throw in a little fiddle, a little sus2, a little variation on the picking, and it's always so interesting to listen to. And just from a technical standpoint, the way that James plays his A chords, you can see that he's actually doing that change down to the sus2 by taking off his first finger. Of course, normally you'll play first finger, second finger, third finger in a nice line, but that's just the way that James plays, and it's just the way that he feels comfortable playing. Something that I say all the time about players that learn their own way and find their own way to play, and you're still going to get a great effect, still getting the same sound. I always say that playing and singing at the same time doubles the difficulty. And by the way, just a guy and a guitar here, such a captivating performance for just that. No band here. Such a great performance this is. But back to that picking, I do say as well that if you are singing and playing fingerstyle at the same time, that ramps up the difficulty to another level, because that right hand isn't just strumming out chords, it's actually going through some quite complicated picking sequences whilst singing at the same time. And if you have played any James Taylor tracks, this one in particular, you'll know that you can't just tell that right hand to do a particular sequence and then that's it sorted for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. He changes it up in order to keep the interest between the vocals. So he might have a very set sequence while he's singing, but then that'll instantly change up to a totally different sequence in between the vocals. And it's something that I think you've got to play guitar to really appreciate the subtlety of it. And this is all just from a technical standpoint of playing with the right hand picking sequences, keeping those two hands nicely synchronized, getting some nice chord sounds, no buzzing with that left hand, and singing and getting that all going at the same time. I'm not even talking about the expression that James plays with. So once you have mastered all of those different elements and stuck them all together seamlessly, then you can start to experiment with your expression, with your playing. And that's exactly what James does here. Of course, he makes it look so easy and makes it sound so easy. As I said, this video could go on for years, but another thing I want to touch on really specific to this video is just the track and the story behind the track. When you're following it, as you can see, everyone's captivated here listening to it. I'm not going to have time in this video to go into James's background and his history and that kind of stuff, but I will go into this track in particular. This is a track that's actually got 3 stories in one. When you're listening to this, you can listen to it in 3 separate parts. Of course, it's all seamlessly woven together by James. In the first verse, James refers to Suzanne, who was his childhood friend, and he actually left Suzanne to come to England to record his first album when he signed his record deal. And unfortunately, while he was away, Suzanne committed suicide. And the lyrics, as you can hear them, Suzanne, the plans we made put an end to you. So while he wasn't in the USA and he came to England, he made plans to leave her, and then she committed suicide while he was away. And unfortunately, the way that it went was that she actually died 6 months before James found out, because nobody wanted to tell him because they thought it would put him off from recording his album, and because it was such a big deal for him to have signed. And it must have been so hard for James to find out that he was almost the last to know. Now that second verse, James is now shifting the focus to his own personal struggle with drugs and addiction and depression as well. So this is some really deep stuff that James is getting down on the paper here, and this is why you can connect so much to it, because this is James's story. He's not repeating somebody else's lyrics here. He's not trying to tell somebody else's story. You can absolutely get that feeling and that expression and that emotion, because this is James Taylor's life and experiences. Just the way that that verse starts with "Won't you look down upon me, Jesus," because it's just really setting the scene straight away. This guy's at rock bottom. bottom, he just paints the picture so well that the only hope that he's got is faith. That's just what he's relying on. And in the third verse, James is reflecting on his own musical journey and the road which has led him to where he is, and he's just reflecting on that. It also has that classic line, sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground. And a lot of people will connect to those lyrics because a lot of people think that it's to do with a fatal plane crash. The amount of musicians that we have lost to plane crashes, those words are certainly going to hit a chord with a lot of people because they can relate those words to so many stories and so many top musicians, a lot of which are featured on this channel, who have lost their lives so tragically. He was actually referring to his old band that were called the Flying Machines because he left them when he got his big break with Paul McCartney and Peter Asher. Great songwriting, but such true songwriting and honest songwriting. A lot of artists wouldn't do this because they wouldn't want to show all of their cards emotionally to an audience, but that's the great thing about James. He just absolutely put everything that he had down on paper. And an interesting fact that Carole King, who played piano on Fire and Rain, she wrote a song called You've Got a Friend, which James also recorded as well. And Carole, having heard the lyric in this track, which is I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, that's what inspired her to write You've Got a Friend. So an interesting link there between Carole and James and the fact that they worked together, and she wrote that in response to this track. I just want to mention something musically about this third verse, because James has got more lyrical content, which means that he's now singing that melody over the chords, and it's just dancing over those chords without a break. In the first verse and second verse, he has a break where he does those guitar fills between his vocals, whereas I love the way that this vocal just effortlessly just flows over the chords. It's so cool, and especially at 2:45, that vocal ad-lib, impressive ad-libs here that are just exactly what you want to hear at that time, just expresses so well vocally. This is one of those performances you just want to watch over and over again because we've got such a great story, such great storytelling by James, the way that he delivers it, and such great playing on the guitar, but also it just connects with you because this is just a guy and a guitar telling you a story and actually taking you through his own experiences. And this is something that you can't fake. You can't fake getting down on paper all these feelings, all these emotions, and this is what comes across through James's performance, is the honesty of what he's doing. And that is what music is all about. And just great to listen to. Just rewind it back to the beginning, and if you didn't know the story behind those lyrics, now listen to it and hear it in context about what James is actually saying, because it really does hit a chord. But thank you so much for suggesting this video, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock.